We won't use props today because my live friend here is traveling. But as always, blocks are an option, and I'll talk about where to use them, but also demo like if you don't have blocks and what to do instead. Okay, so let's start on our back. And let me bring you a little closer here. Okay. So we'll start our hour here on our back. So you can take an early Shavasana, and with the kind of intention of opening the hips already, you can just leave the heels in and almost exaggerate the rotation of the toes out. And then if you want to open your shoulders, you can grab the shoulders, opposite elbows overhead, and let the forearms come down to the floor above your head. Or you can just kind of reach overhead. I've been feeling that one lately. Then you can close your eyes and kind of drop into the practice just a little bit and start to smooth out your breathing. In yesterday's live meditation call, and we had this visualization guided of kind of carrying around your regrets about the past or worries about the past and your worries about the future, like two heavy pieces of luggage. And of course, we know we can't change the past. Intellectually, we know it. And the future, intellectually, we know that we can't do anything about it as it hasn't happened yet. So for this hour where we're just kind of here together in the moment, maybe you want to grab onto that image again a little bit and imagine that you're holding kind of the past and the future, and they're like super heavy, and you put down the suitcases, and because you're alive, you're traveling, you know that feeling of relief when you are settled and you set the stuff down and you can sit and it's kind of like, let's see if we can find that space just for an hour, and then pick up whatever luggage you want after. Let's start with 3 deep breaths. Take a big inhale through the nose. And exhale, side out. And inhale through the nose. Exhale, side out. Last one here, inhale through the nose. And exhale, side out. And then seal your lips and find your Ujjayi breath. So the soft constriction in the throat and kind of forceful inhales and forceful steady exhales in and out through the nostrils. And then set your intention for our hour together. It could be just to move and kind of try to wake up, maybe push yourself in ways that you haven't, as long as it feels good, or maybe it's just around that idea of kind of settling down the thoughts and worries for a bit. Then when you've set an intention, open your eyes and go ahead, bend the knees, bring the feet to the ground, and hug the knees into the chest and give yourself a little rock from side to side here. And we'll find a happy baby. So bring the low back down to the ground and then bring the knees to either side of your rib cage, flex the feet, send the feet up to the ceiling. And right away, you can challenge yourself by bringing your hands inside the bent knees, grab the outer edges of the feet and see if that works. And if not, just grab the ankles. I'll probably start there myself. So you can grab the ankles or if you can grab the outer edges of the feet, cool. But if you're grabbing the outer edges of the feet, just glue the low back down. And then we'll make this a little bit of a moving happy baby. So with the happy baby shape, flexing the feet, just rock from side to side. And then from the center, we can start to open the hamstrings from here. So on your inhale, just lengthen the right leg to start to straighten it. You know, it doesn't have to be totally straight. Mine definitely is not. And then rebend as you exhale. And then inhale, start to lengthen through the left leg. This one is my much wonkier leg right now. So it doesn't have to be straight at all, just extending, yeah. And then exhale, rebend. And then just take a few more of those on your own. Just inhale as you extend one leg and then exhale as you rebend. And maybe on every like kind of extension of the leg here, you get just like 1 millimeter more of hamstring opening, but also maybe not. It's all good. And then come back through center, bend the knees, hug the knees into the chest, and then cross the right leg over the left for a supine spinal twist. So shift the hips to the right and then drop the knees to the left. So again, your arms, if you have room, can be long or they can just be cactus goal-posted. And then you can take the left hand outside the right thigh and kind of push down to get a little assisted stretch on the outer right hip. And then try to push the right shoulder blade down to the mat to open the chest more. And then the final option is to take your chin and rotate it over the right shoulder. And then just check in that your breathing here isn't constricted. So just inhale and open through the lungs. The chest should be nice and wide up to the ceiling. And then the exhale, everything just kind of contracts back in. Then bring the chin up to the ceiling. You can extend the left arm out to help you and just bring the knees back up over your chest to the center and then cross the left leg over the right. We'll take the other side. So again, it helps to shift the hips to the left first before you drop the knees, and then take the crossed knees over to the right. Left arm can be long, and then take your right hand outside the left thigh and push the left knee down until you get to like the edge of the stretch. So the edge again is, you want to feel something, especially because you're working on hips here. You want to feel like you're getting an assisted stretch from yourself, but it shouldn't like hurt. And then again, check on the chest. So really focus on taking the left shoulder blade down so the chest is open to breathe. And then drop the chin over the left shoulder. And then take a big inhale. Filling up the lungs and an exhale. And take the chin back up to the ceiling. Release the right hand from the left thigh. Bring the knees up over your chest, but keep the left leg over the right. So keep the cross here. And then cross the left arm under the right for eagle arms on your back. So you can either, again, touch your hands to your shoulders or cross the forearms and tap the left fingertips into the right palm, like so. And then bring the elbows up over the face. And then see if you can touch the floor behind you with your fingertips, if you have the fingertips, or you're just moving the elbows up further over your face. So then inhale, expand here, and then exhale, crunch the elbows up to the knees, a little eagle crunch. So take the chin to the chest, squeeze everything in. And then on your next inhale, try to tap the toes down and tap the fingertips to the ground above you, or just move the elbows up. And then exhale, crunch and squeeze elbows to knees. And we'll do 3 more of those. So inhale, tap everything down. And then exhale, squeeze, crunch it up. And then inhale, reach overhead. And exhale, squeeze. We got 1 more on this side, and then we'll do the other. So inhale, tap the fingertips up over your head. And exhale, squeeze. Come back to neutral. So head on the ground, elbows above you, and then change the cross. So the right leg goes over, right arm goes under. Same thing, grab opposite shoulders. I think I said elbows, but shoulders. Or you can cross the forearms and take the right fingertips into the left palm. And then same thing here. On your inhale, let's tap the toes down and try to either tap the floor above the head or bring the elbows up over the face a little bit more. And then exhale, crunch. So this time, fully bring the chin to the chest, squeeze everything into a ball. Good. And then inhale, let it go. Tap the floor above and below you. And exhale, squeeze. So 3 more of these. Inhale to tap. And exhale to crunch in. And then inhale to reach over. And exhale, squeeze. And then inhale, tap. And exhale, squeeze. All right, this time while you're holding this ball, uncross everything, just bring the knees into the chest, bring the forehead into the knees, and then take the hands behind the hamstrings. Let's rock up to the top of the mat. So again, you can rock with a lot of momentum, or you can squeeze your core in a lot and see if you can use your muscles to kind of get up here. Good. All right, and then meet me at the top. See if you can not tap your toes down. We're just going to hover here with the toes off the ground, and then widen your chest. So we have the chin to the chest. Now we're doing the opposite. So broad shoulders, chin away from the chest. Good. And then extend one leg and then the other. Just try it. Nice. Or you can bend the knees. Cool. All right. Bring the chest a little bit wider. Reach the hands forward. This is Navasana or boat pose. Great. Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Bend the knees. Bring the feet to the ground. Hug your shins one more time. And then cross one shin over the other. Let's come to tabletop, hands and knees. All right. From tabletop, let's take a few cat-cows. So starting with cow, tuck the toes. And now pull the chest forward. So feel the release on the core after the little crunch moment. And then exhale, flatten the feet, round and curl for cat. And then just take a couple more of those. You don't have to switch the toes, but it gives a little extra kind of foot stretch moment here. And then come back to neutral, and you can either take some circles here. If you want to join me to open the hips, we'll just walk the hands forward, one handprint. And then on your inhale, kind of drop the hips down so you get a little kind of sloppy cobra situation. And then exhale, just come back to a little rounded low back. It's kind of a child's pose, but not really. And you take that a few more times to open the front of the hips, the hip flexors. And come back into that little kind of mini child's pose for a second. And then come back to tabletop, hands and knees. So drag the hands back under the shoulders, restack the knees under the hips, bring the knees together, the shins together. Let's take an actual toe stretch. So tuck all your toes. Yeah. And then walk the hips back to the heels. And then reach back, make sure that every toe is there. Good. And then let's inhale, reach the, interlace the fingers in front of the chest. Turn the palms away from you. Push the palms away so the back of the upper back opens. Bring the chin to the chest for a moment. So think cat spine. And then inhale, bring the hands up overhead. And then if anyone's watching the recording and they don't interlace, you can just reach the hands up. Let's take a side bend. So take the hands over to the left. You want to keep the chest and the chin, everything hips forward, and make sure that the right glute is still glued down to the right heel. Good. And then inhale through center. Let's take the side bend to the right. So same thing. The whole left side of the body now stretches, but the chest, the hips, the face are forward to the top of the mat. The left glute is down to the heel. We're still stretching the toes. Inhale, come up through center, and then interlace the fingers on the back of the head. Keep the elbows out for a little back bend here. So we'll push the middle of the rib cage forward. The butt stays glued to the heels. As you push the middle of the rib cage forward, the elbows start to open. You can either look forward slightly or you can drop the head back if that's comfortable on your neck. And then come back to neutral, restack the shoulders over the hips, and then bring the hands down. Let's pad out the feet. So separate the knees, pad the feet out. Woo! And then start to circle out the feet, get some circulation back. I don't know if the floor in here is quite hard. I need to add another layer of padding. Again, add a rug here. Okay, great. You can hit the feet together. All right, let's set up the hands for downward facing dog. So you know the drill. If you need to move your hands out to a little angle, you can, if that helps on the shoulders. Otherwise, take your weight here, you know. Tuck the toes. Let's find our first downward facing dog. So send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So drop the head and just look back at the feet. You can listen to my cues. Good, nice. And let's pedal out the feet here. So breathe into the back of the hamstrings and the calves. And as you pedal, you might want to drop one heel down and just kind of take a little bit more of a considered stretch on one leg first, and then rebend the knee, drop the other one, kind of breathe into that calf muscle. All right. So my heels aren't touching. I don't think yours are either. So let's really get into the calves and hamstrings for a moment with a short down dog. So walk the hands in like further towards your feet. You can walk them in until you can get the heels flat. Again, focus on the recording. The heels don't have to be flat. Let's just walk the hands in closer to get more of a hamstring stretch. And then drop the head a lot and push the fingers forward without actually pushing them. So you're just like staying glued to the mat, but imagine like you're pushing the mat away, like you're ripping it so that your chest comes closer to your thighs as you look back at your feet. All right, and then look forward at the hands. Let's walk the hands back to where they started and just see if that changed anything about your hamstrings. Come high on the balls of your feet and then roll forward to a plank. So I realized that I just had to walk my hands forward to get a good plank. Yeah, so you want heels over toes and squeeze the quads so the hamstrings lift a little bit more. Yeah, and then push into the ground a lot so that you kind of feel like you could spring off the ground with your hands, and then the legs should feel a little bit lighter if you squeeze the quads. Good. So with that measurement, now press back to downward facing dog. And the heels likely will not touch. Mine don't. Let's ripple forward 2 more times. So come high on the toes, ripple forward to plank. Again, stay light on the toes, like kind of springy in the hands. Yeah, so it's like if you push into the mat, the upper body kind of rounds. It's like you could do an explosive push-up if you wanted to. We don't want to, but okay. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. And then come high on the toes, let's roll forward to plank. So hold this plank here. We got this plank, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads. Can you tap the right hand to the left shoulder without moving too much? Just try. And then set it down, come back through center, and then squeeze the low abs in particular to keep your legs steady as you tap the left hand to the right shoulder, and then set it down. Let's do 2 more on each side. So right hand, left shoulder, set it down. Left hand, right shoulder, set it down. 1 more on each side, right hand, left shoulder, set it down. Left hand, right shoulder, set it down. Now from the plank, bend the knees and send your hips back towards your heels like you're, like a cat getting ready to lift off. Look forward at the hands. And then take a light hop forward. So it could be 2 jumps, it could be 1 jump to meet at the top of the mat. You may need to move too, okay? So the feet are about 2 hands distance away here. And grab opposite elbows, drop the head, and then take a little sway from side to side as you, keep a soft bend in the knees for sure. And then drop the hands, bend the knees a lot, and let's inhale, roll up to stand. So we can make this one slow. Keep the chin to the chest. It's kind of our first big standing moment. All right, good. Close the eyes for a second. Bring a hand to the chest, a hand to the navel. Take a big inhale. And a big exhale. And then open the eyes, find mountain pose. So pinkies in, thumbs out. Let's inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Bend the knees slightly and then exhale, cactus the arms. So the elbows come out even with the shoulders. Find a little back bend here. So push the hips forward, the middle of the rib cage forward, open the chest. And then inhale, stand up straight again, shoulders over the hips, reach the hands up overhead. You can touch the palms. And exhale, swan dive forward. So bend the knees, bring the hands down through center, forward bend, Uttanasana. And then inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Good. And exhale, forward bend. So this time, bend the knees, plant the hands, let's step the left foot back and then the right foot back, high plank. Good. Now this time on the toes, rock forward 1 inch. You're just gonna take the shoulders past the wrist. Squeeze the quads a lot. We'll lower down in 1 line, but make it 1 line. So you wanna squeeze right here and then bend the elbows straight back. And see how slow you can make it. I know. Keep the elbows in close, 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 close. So they should touch your ribs. Good. All right. Once you're on the ground, untuck the toes. Keep the hands under the shoulders and really squeeze the elbows in here. So the way the elbows are touching your rib cage here, that's the feeling that we're looking for on the way down. Baby cobra. So inhale, just lift up the front half of your body, press the tops of the feet down so the kneecaps should be off the ground. Good. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Tuck the toes. All right, challenge moment here. Keep the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes. Can you press directly up into a plank? So it might not be pretty, but we'll just come up into one of these. Good. And then press back, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bring the big toes to touch and then send the right foot up and back, one-legged dog. Let's bend the right knee out to the right and take a few hip circles. So if you want, you can look under the right arm, whatever. It's not that serious today. And then circle back in towards the middle. Now reset, so send the right foot up and back, toes down, heel up, look forward at the hands. Come high on the left foot, and this time, round and curl your right knee, tap your right elbow. See what happens there. It doesn't have to touch, good. Send it up and back. All right, we're gonna do that again. So come forward, tap right knee in the direction of the right elbow, squeeze in, and then send it up and back. All right, one more time here. Come forward, tap the right knee towards the right elbow. This time, push away from the ground, set the right foot outside the right hand. Cool. So now we got a wide low lunge, the left hand, right foot for lizard. So take a few rocks back and forth on the back toes here. And then bring the left knee down, untuck the left toes. Leave the right foot where it is, leave the left hand down, and take the right hand to the inside of the left knee. So like that. And then you can push the knee away from you for a moment. So it'll look like this. And then roll the right shoulder open. You can drop the head back, get a little chest opener here. So we're kind of letting the outer right hip open. I feel this on the front of my right hip as well. Okay. And then bring the right hand back down to the ground, flatten the right foot. So the back knee is still down. And then come up, bring your hands to your hips. Let's find eagle arms again. So this time we'll keep right arm under left. So the left elbow goes inside the right. Wrap the forearms or grab the elbows. Good. Okay. And then from here, let's find a back bend. So inhale. It's the back bend. Okay. So we'll inhale and push the elbows away from our body. Open through the rib cage. Drop the head if you want, and keep working the elbows away from the chest. And at the same time, you're dropping your hips down to the mat so you don't lose the hip opener. So inhale, and then exhale, come through that little crunch feeling again. So we'll bring the elbows inside the right knee as you bring the chin to the chest and then squeeze everything in towards the abs. Yeah, cool. And then unwrap the arms, bring the hands down to the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift the left knee, and then find a wide low lunge twist. So the left hand stays down, right hand comes up. And keep the back leg working here. And then just take a couple breaths as you open the right shoulder over the left. Bring the right hand down inside the right foot, get light on the back foot, and then step the left foot outside the right foot. So wide forward bend, wider forward bend at the top of the mat. Heels in, toes out. Let's find a halfway yogi squat. So again, we'll just drop the seat, knees track over toes. The hands can be light on the ground, and then just sway from side to side here and kind of let gravity kind of open the hips. It doesn't matter where your chest is or anything for this one. We can just kind of let this happen. Cool. Press the fingertips into the mat a lot. Drive through the feet and then send the tailbone up for a forward fold, forward bend for a moment here, and then heel toe the feet back parallel. So where we start, so one foot under each hip, take a soft bend in the knees, and then let's inhale, roll up to stand a little bit more quickly and bring the hands up overhead. Take a soft bend in the knees, cactus the arms, find a little back bend here again. So push the hips forward, push the chest forward, drop the head back if you like. And if you push the hips forward a lot and keep the knees bent, it keeps the work out of the low back here. And then inhale, stand up tall, bring the hands up overhead. And exhale, bring the hands down, forward bend. So swan dive forward, good. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward bend, plant the hands. This time, let's step the right foot back, then the left foot back to plank. All right, so same thing here. We'll rock forward on the toes. Again, it helps if you really think about this whole area here, squeeze in, squeeze the quads, and then we'll lower down in one line. So again, the elbows are gonna bend straight in, think tricep push up. So you're just gonna go back. You want the upper arms to touch the ribs. and then come all the way down. Okay. Once we're there, untuck the toes. You can leave the feet a little bit further apart for the low back here. And then walk the hands back on either side of the rib cage. So below the chest. And then squeeze the shoulder blades together for a lifted cobra. So press the tops of the feet down, squeeze the quads so the kneecaps lift, and then press yourself up, cobra. Good. Yeah. So rotate the elbows back a little bit. So they're kind of wide, like you were doing a push-up. You want them straight back for this one. So it is tricep work for sure. Okay. All right, bend the elbows straight back, lower your head all the way down. Let's do that 2 more times. So keep the feet where they are, press into the hands, and then just lift up. So this is definitely working the upper arms. Good. So squeeze in. Cool. And then lower down. Let's do 3 more of these. These are essentially cobra push-ups. So press into the hands, lift up. And then exhale, bend the elbows, lower down. We got 2 more of these. Press into the hands, press into the feet, lift up, squeeze the triceps, and then exhale, rebend the elbows down. 1 more here. Press into the hands, lift up, squeeze, and then exhale, lower down. Walk the hands forward so they're back under your shoulders. Tuck the toes. Let's try to press back up into plank again. So again, you'll squeeze the quads first. Press. Yep, you got it. And then press back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay. Bring the big toes to touch and then send the left foot up and back. Let's open the hip here. So bend the left knee, take a few circles out. And then some circles back in. Okay. All right, send the left foot up and back with the toes down. Come high on the ball of the right foot, and then we'll tap left knee towards left elbow this time. Again, it can be here. It doesn't have to fully touch, but see what happens if you get it forward. Good. All right, send it up and back. So we got 2 more of those. So come forward on the right toes, tap left knee towards left elbow. Send it up and back. All right, last one of these. Come forward, tap the left knee towards the left elbow, squeeze, and then left foot outside left hand. Wide low lunge or early lizard. So left foot, left hand, right hand, and then we'll rock back and forth on the right toes. Okay. Come back through center and then take the right knee down, untuck the right toes, and we'll lift up for a moment. You find this crescent lunge shape of letting the hips drop. We'll find eagle arms. So this time, left elbow under right. Yeah, left elbow under right. Same thing, either grab opposite shoulders or left fingertip into right hand. Good. And so the first thing we want to do that I should have said before is just make sure the elbows are like away from the chest. So you have space here in front of your chest. And then find a back bend. So drop the head back. The fingertips are going to come overhead, but we're still pushing the elbows away to get opening through the upper back. And then exhale, find a little eagle crunch. So the elbows come inside the left knee, chin to chest, you're squeezing everything in. And then uncross the arms, bring the hands down inside the left foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the right knee, and we'll find the wide low lunge twist again. So right hand stays where it is, left hand comes up. And again, there's a tendency here to kind of just forget about the back leg, but make sure that it is pressing up towards the ceiling. You can look up at the left hand, or you can just kind of look forward. All right, bring the left hand down inside the left foot. We'll take that big step forward with the right foot this time, outside the right hand. And then keep the heels in, toes out. Let's find kind of a halfway yogi squat again. The fingertips stay on the ground. And we just kind of drop the hips. So the elbows might bend to kind of get deeper into the hips. Yeah, and you're just letting the butt drop so that it's below the knees. But your hands are still there for balance. And then you can kind of make it a little mobile from side to side. With the elbows inside the knees too, you can kind of press the knees out a little bit further to get like kind of some assistance here. Okay. And then come through the center, press through the hands, and then press the feet up, drop the head. Heel toe the feet parallel, and then option here, if you want to add a big shoulder opener, you can either grab opposite elbows, or you can interlace the fingers at the low back. So the elbows are out to the side to start here. But then you would kind of shimmy the shoulder blades together so the hands naturally start to pop up. Cool. And then anyone who's watching this, you can grab a towel or your yoga belt for it. Okay. If you start to lose the interlace, just rebend the elbows and find it again, because mine were kind of coming apart. So the key here is that you want to squeeze the shoulder blades together on your back. That'll help. And then drop the head so that you're looking back at the shins. And then work the hands over your head. So think that you're looking back at your knees, but you are trying to touch the wall in front of you with your hands. So the more you find that kind of feeling of movement, the more you open the chest and the shoulders. All right. Drop the hands down, let that go. Shake your wrists out if you need to. Bend the knees. Let's inhale, roll up to stand. And then find mountain pose for a second. Close the eyes. Pinkies in, thumbs out. And drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Good. All right, reopen the eyes. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. And this time we'll find a little bit more of a back bend. Bring the hands to the hips. And then options. You can either keep your hands totally on your hips and just find the same shoulder squeeze and push the elbows back. Okay, that's kind of option one. Option two is to bring your hands to your low back, so above your glutes, and the fingertips can be down towards your seat. I used to find it easier to do this, and some people still do. So you can also try that with the fingers out to the side. For whatever reason, that's no longer the easiest one for me, so I'm going to be here. Although this used to be harder. I'm not sure what changed. But regardless of which one you pick, here, here, or here, we'll all kind of work the elbows back. So it feels very exaggerated to do this, but make sure you, like the elbows are going straight back, hands on the low back. Take a little bend in your knees here, and then same feeling with the back bend. You want to push the hips forward, then the middle of the rib cage forward. The bend in your knees helps stay out of the low back, okay? So you want to feel grounded through the toes and the heels. Keep squeezing the elbows together, the shoulder blades together so they're pointing straight back. You can puff up the middle of the rib cage. Either keep your chin to the chest if you have like neck issues, or you can drop the head back. Okay. Yeah, definitely bring the chin to the chest. Let's come up to stand straight. Shake out the arms. Shake out the wrists, roll them out. And then inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. And exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And then exhale, forward bend, plant the hands, so bend the knees a lot. And step back to plank. Okay, so from plank, pick up the right foot, set it outside the right hands. So we're going straight into this lizard, and then reach the right arm up. And then bring the right hand down, step the right foot back. So other side, left foot forward. Inhale, left arm up. And then left hand down, left foot back. You got it? Okay, we'll do that 2 more on each side. So right foot outside, right hand, reach right arm up. Exhale, right hand down, right foot back. Left foot forward, inhale, left hand up. Exhale, left hand down, left foot back. One more, right foot forward, inhale, reach right arm up. Right hand down, right foot back. Left foot forward, inhale, left hand up. Left hand down, left foot back. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, knees down, child's pose. So bring the knees wide, bring the big toes to touch, send the hips back to the heels, and take the forehead down. And just reconnect with your breathing if you need to. And while we're here, let's thread the needle directly from child's pose. So just lift up your head a little, take the right hand under the left arm, and then take the outer right shoulder, right ear down to the mat. And then your challenge here is to keep pressing the glutes to the heels so you still have the hip opener happening. Okay, lift up the head. Let's reset. Bring the right arm forward and other side. So this time the left arm comes under the right. Left shoulder down, left ear down. And keep working the hips back to the heels. Come back through center, bring your hands forward, bring the knees together. Let's take a quick water break. All good? Okay. And then we'll keep it moving. Okay. All right. All good? All right. Let's keep it moving. So bring the hands forward without further ado. Separate the knees. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. All right. So maybe you can find your longest downward facing dog here yet. So the legs are long, maybe the heels are touching a little bit closer to the ground. And then bring the big toes to touch. Send the right foot up and back on like a dog. And then come forward, round and curl the knee to the nose. So you're pressing the ground away, you're trying to lift the knee up high, and then inhale, send it back. So 2 more of those. Exhale, round forward, curl. The shoulders are over the wrists, the arms feel light, and then send it back. All right, 1 more. Round the curl, knee to nose. Hold it here. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2. Foot between the hands, low lunge. Or set it there. Good. Spin the left foot down to warrior 2 legs. So align the right heel with the left inner arch. And then come up to warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Okay. From warrior 2, let's find 3 pumping warriors. So inhale, straighten the legs, touch the palms overhead. Lift up, reach up, and then exhale, rebend the right knee. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift up, reach up, and exhale, rebend. 1 more here. Inhale, lift up, reach up, and exhale, rebend. Hold here in warrior 2. All right. Now, keeping the warrior 2 legs, take your chest extra out to the side, find eagle arms again. So wrap the right arm under the left here. Tap the right fingertips into the left palm. Bring the elbows up even with the face, but keep working the right knee out to the side. So we're opening the hips, but the shoulders are opening here in warrior 2 legs. Good. Once you have that, straighten the right leg and turn the right toes in the same direction as the left toes. So we have wider legs, eagle arms. Take a soft bend in the knees. Let's inhale, find a little back bend here. Push the elbows away from you. So the upper back is always kind of doming an eagle. And then exhale, fold forward. We have eagle arms with Prasarita Padottanasana. And so just hang on to the arms here. Rock back and forth in your feet a little bit, like into the toes and then back towards the heels, just to see how that feels on your hamstrings. Okay, unwind the arms, bring the hands down. Get light in your fingertips and lift about halfway. And now turn your right toes back to the top corner of your mat. So like a 45-degree angle. And then start to walk the hands over towards the right foot, bend the right knee. Cool. So you might need to like adjust the foot angle here so you feel stable, but the heel should feel really stable. And then walk the hands inside the right foot entirely and start to take all your weight into the right foot. So the right knee is going to bend like way past the ankle. Good. Press your right knee out a little more. So it's, yeah, good. So the left leg is totally straight here. Now take the left heel down and the left toes flex up. That's Skandasana. And then if you're good here, you start to shift the weight back into your right heel. So the weight should come out of your hands now. Good. Keep the right elbow inside the right knee for support. And then see if you can press your hands together in front of your chest. Like so, yep. And then drop the butt down a little bit more. So we're working to get the chest higher. I know. It's a lot on the inner, a lot for the hamstrings and hips. And then just breathe here. So if you squeeze your pelvic floor, it'll help you kind of lift. Okay. Bring the hands down. Now take some weight into the hands and start to straighten the right leg out. Bring your weight back to center and re-parallel the feet here. Forward bend. And let that go. Now start to walk the hands towards the left foot. Turn the left toes towards the back of your mat. Align the left heel with the right inner arch. Bend the left knee and then come up to warrior 2 here. So Virabhadrasana 2 to the back of the mat. And take the shoulders back over the hips. Reverse warrior from here. So turn the left palm up Reach forward and then up over towards the front, what was the front of your mat. Good. So keep the bend in the left knee. Okay. And then cartwheel the hands down to frame the left foot. Tuck the back toes, step the left foot back to meet the right to plank. Let's lower all the way down. So rock forward an inch, bend the elbow straight back, lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, take the hands back on either side of the rib cage now, and let's try upward facing dog. So you'll press the tops of the feet down. Again, squeeze the quads so the kneecaps will lift, okay? So the legs are engaged. Again, you squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back, the elbows go straight up, and then you press through a cobra, but the legs lift. So it'll look like cobra until the very end when this lifts. Now, once this lifts, try to drop the hips down and roll the chest forward. So you'll need to keep a little bend in the elbows still. Okay, cool. Let's bend the elbows a lot, lower the legs, and then lower the upper body all the way down. Walk the hands back under the shoulders, tuck the toes, and then press up to plank. I know. And then press back to downward facing dog. So you said you wanted to work, so. Okay. We'll get back to the top of the mat. So bring the feet together to touch, bring the left foot up and back. Look at the hands, and then let's round and curl knee towards nose, or into the chest, really. And send it up and back. 2 more like that. So come forward, knee into nose, chest, keep the shin off the ground, and then inhale up and back. And then exhale, round and curl, hold it here, keep the shin off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, left foot between the hands, low lunge. You got it. Left knee over left ankle, and then spin the right foot down for warrior 2 legs. And then bring the arms up, warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So I just had to slide my legs further apart. So if you feel like unsteady on the back foot, find a wider stance. And again, we want the weight on the outer edge of the right foot. So that's how it should feel. Cool. Bring the arms out. Let's find 3 pumping warriors here. So inhale, straighten the legs, touch the palms. And exhale, rebend the left knee. And then inhale, straighten the legs, touch the palms. And exhale, rebend the left knee. Warrior 2. All right, inhale, straighten the legs, touch the palms, reach the arms overhead. And then exhale, rebend, warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. And then my arms were kind of uneven, so we want to keep the hands level. So let's find eagle arms on this side. So left arm goes under right. And so right elbow inside the left elbow, and then either wrap the forearms or grab opposite shoulders. And then again, the first thing here is we bring the elbows up kind of even with the shoulders. So again, we're finding a little rounding of the spine, but the left knee hasn't changed. So it should feel like a big opening in the left hip, and our chest and our shoulders are like moving away from the left knee, left hip. You got it. All right, so keep pushing the elbows away from your chest, straighten the left leg, and then turn all your toes towards the long side of the mat. Bend the knees slightly here, so the feet are parallel now and wide. Let's find a little back bend. So same thing, push the hips forward, and then the rib cage forward, and drop the head back. And then come up through center here, and then find a little wide-legged forward bend, this time with eagle arms on this side. So again, drop the head. We're keeping this wrap of the elbows. And again, shift the weight forward into your toes so you kind of feel it a lot, and then back into the heels. And you can do that just a couple more times. And then find the neutral space between the toes and the heels. Bring the hands down. Let's take Skandasana on this side. So start to turn the left toes back towards the left corner of the mat. So like roughly 45 degrees. Start to walk the hands over to the left foot and then bend the left knee a lot. So again, you might need to slide the left foot out. I usually do. The key is we want the knee right over the foot, right? Rather than collapsing in or out. So just find the angle that allows you to do that. And then walk the hands all the way inside the left foot. Take all your weight into the left foot now. So the left knee is going to go way past the left ankle, which is okay because we're closer to the ground, okay? It's not like a lunge or a squat. The right leg will probably be pretty straight now. Keep the right heel down, flex the right toes up. Now, I don't feel stable in my left foot here, so I'm going to change the angle once again. So that's always an option. And then take the left elbow inside the left knee. And then see if you can bring the hands to meet in front of the chest. Good. So try to drop the hips a little bit more, bring the chest up higher. I'm really sweating now. And then breathe. Okay. Bring the hands down. Take some more weight into the hands. Let's straighten the left leg. Find a wide-legged forward bend. Re-parallel the feet. And let that go. And start to walk the hands back towards the right foot. Turn the right toes towards the front of the mat. And start to bend the right knee. Find warrior two legs. Yeah, so the right toes are forward now. Right knee over right heel. Right heel aligning with left arch. Let's come up. Warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. We know this one. So reverse warrior. Right palm turns up, reach forward. And then up over towards the back of the mat now, but keep the bend. Good. Inhale, reach back. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands forward to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes. And then step back to plank. So we'll lower all the way down again. So shift forward, bend the elbows, come down. So let's try upward facing dog again, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So the toes go back. The feet can be kind of separate. They can be together, but that bothers my low back, but some people like it. So up to you. I like to keep them wider though. So again, we'll walk the hands back on either side of the rib cage and then squeeze the shoulder blades together so the elbows are pointing straight up to the ceiling. And then we'll squeeze the quads. So that's step one. We want to feel the kneecaps like come off the mat, press the tops of the feet down, and then press into the hands. So we lift up through cobra. So you can stop there. So there's still a bend in the elbows, so you don't wind up with one of these. Cool. And then the thighs lift. So once the thighs lift, you can challenge yourself to kind of drop the hips more while staying lifted, which you'll feel in the hips a little bit more. Cool. Bring the elbows back towards your rib cage a little more. So like bring them, like squeeze them back in. Cool. All right, challenge moment here. Press into the tops of the bottoms of the hands. Press into the hands. You're gonna squeeze the low abs in and then try to press your hips up and back. You're just gonna pike up. But I know the tops of the toes are still kind of down on the mat, so it's a little funky for a second. So once you can't stand it, then you flip your toes back and find downward facing dog. Nice work. Walk the hands to the middle of the mat and then walk the feet to the middle of the mat. Find a forward bend there, the top of the mat. And then bend the knees, inhale, roll up to stand. So you can be facing the camera. I'll just turn to face this way. And with the feet parallel, bring the hands to the hips, bring the right knee up into the chest, one-legged mountain pose to start. All right, start to bend the left leg a little bit, cross the right leg over the left like you are sitting cross-legged. With the legs, the inner thighs squeezing together, start to sit a little bit lower. So think chair pose, but we're squeezing the inner thighs together. Now bring the arms out, find eagle arms. So the right leg is over the left, the right arm goes under the left. So left elbow inside the right, and then either grab shoulders or right fingertips into the palm, and you can always tap this foot down, or you can leave it floating, okay? So again, we'll work the elbows up away from the shoulders, so they're even with the shoulders. So you find the opening through the upper back. Sit a little bit lower. And then sit a little bit lower, keeping the eagle wrap. This is Garudasana. Good. And then one more challenge moment here. You can find a little back bend. And then exhale, kind of crunch forward and hook the elbows on the outside of the right knee. And then your fingertips are kind of pointing straight forward, and you're looking over the fingertips as your drishti for focus. Okay. Let's come back up through center. So find a tall spine. You got to tap down that spine too. Bring the right knee back into the chest. Set the right foot down. And then shake everything out. Close the eyes. Bring the one hand to the chest and one hand to the stomach, and just kind of reconnect with your breathing. Okay. Garudasana on the other side. So again, we start with parallel feet, hands on the hips. Bring the left knee up into the chest. One-legged Tadasana. I'm really sweating. All right. So you start to bend the right knee a little bit, cross the left leg over the right. So the key here is that you're squeezing the inner thighs together a lot, a lot, a lot. So squeeze. You're going to crack a walnut. And then the left leg can be floating or you can tap it. But I just want the legs squeezing together and the knees straight forward into the center. So this time, left arm goes under the right arm. Okay, and then grab opposite shoulders or left fingertips into the right palm. Bring the elbows up even with the shoulders. Squeeze the inner thighs together a little bit more. Press the elbows away from the shoulders. Okay, and then bend into the right knee a little bit more. So you're sitting low in your invisible chair. But now we're in Garudasana, eagle. Garuda is not as a bird. It's not quite an eagle. It's a really gnarly, cool bird. So we're channeling that energy. And then the hands are still in the center here, okay? So if you're looking forward, you're looking right at your hands. If you want, you can find a little back bend again. And then exhale. Poke the elbows outside the left knee. But if you do that, try to keep the bend in your right knee. Now, everything's squeezing in towards the middle. So inner thighs squeezing together. Fingertips are pointing straight forward. Whew. Your drishti, your gaze is over the fingers. And then stay really strong in your right leg. We'll stand back up, left knee into chest. Oh my gosh. And then left foot down. Uncross the arms, close the eyes. Bring a hand to the chest, hand to the stomach just to reground and reconnect with your breath. Take a big inhale. And a big exhale. Then open the eyes, come back to the top of your mat. Last little, I don't know. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. And then exhale, swan dive forward. We'll take one more vinyasa, why not? Inhale, lift halfway. And then exhale, forward bend, plant the hand, step one foot back, then the other. Rock forward 1 inch, and then we'll lower all the way down. Okay. Let's keep it easy this time, so a little bit easier. So point the toes back, walk the hands back, and let's take cobra. So it can be low, it can be high. And then bend the elbows straight back, lower all the way down. Take the hands under the shoulders this time. Bring the thighs and the knees together and the toes, the big toes, and just press back straight into a closed kneed child's pose. So walk the hands all the way back and grab the heels and let the head come down. The balance core stuff is over. So again, you can, if there was any kind of worry, right, about the future of the class, you can let that go because it's not going to happen how you may have been afraid. And then walk the hands forward and come to, keep the knees together actually. Bring the elbows down. So elbows down under each shoulder, forearms parallel, palms down. Then you can just kind of shimmy the legs back and we'll find Sphinx from here. So the legs can stay together if you want, or they can be apart for Sphinx, but let's draw the elbows back so the chest widens. And this will be our kind of back bend for the day. But if you want seal, then walk the fingertips forward, lift the elbows off the ground, and then turn the hands out at a 45-degree angle. So they're wider than your shoulders. The thumbs are kind of pointing forward and you can press away. And then bring the elbows back down to the mat, slide the hands back under the shoulders and lower your chest and forehead down. And then point the toes straight back and just kind of shake out the legs here. So you're going to shake them back and forth to loosen the low back. And then bend the knees so the toes point up to the ceiling and just kind of windshield wiper the knees from side to side for a second here. And roll over onto your back. Okay. We'll find recline pigeon today with a couple options here. So bend the knees, the feet are on the ground, then just cross the right leg over the left for a figure four. And then if you want to make it more challenging, pick up the leg. And then either you can take the right hand under the shin here and just interlace the fingers behind the left hamstring. But like the harder version, if you're looking for that, is to interlace the fingers on the front of the shin. So I had to lift my head up to get that, which is okay. But then you want to be able to put your head back down. So if you're staying kind of curled to get that, then just let it go and take the hands to the hamstrings. Once you're there, then press the right knee away from you as much as you can and keep flexing the left foot. And that will help you get like the most outer right hip. And if you really think about flexing the left foot and kind of pressing the right ankle into the left thigh and the right knee away from you, this should feel as challenging as the other pigeon where we're facing the ground. So you can kind of control the intensity by how much you concentrate. Okay. Now, let go of the shin or the hamstring. Leave the feet in a figure four shape and bring the arms out for a supine spinal twist variation. So we'll leave the legs exactly as they are, only we'll start to kind of let this whole figure four shape just kind of fall out to the side. So the right foot will come down to the ground and the outer left leg will come down, but the right knee is still kind of in the air. So you get a twist, but the right outer hip is still opening subtly. And then you can also turn the chin over the right shoulder. And take the chin up to the ceiling. And then bring the figure four shape back over and then set the left foot down and kind of reset your body on the mat if you need to. Good. And the right foot comes down. So other side, left ankle comes on top of right thigh and flex the left foot. And again, just pick up your figure four shape. Oh my gosh, my feet. Okay. So again, one hip might be more open than the other. So for me, this one is my more open one. So I can just get onto the front of the right shin without lifting up. It just is what it is. But again, it's normal to have to like stay on the hamstring perhaps, or even on the ground for one side. Just totally normal. Alrighty. And then again, you control the intensity dial here by continuing to really stay active in the right foot, flexing the right toes, work the left knee away from you. And let's take the supine spinal twist variation. So leave the figure four shape. Bring the arms out however you want. So cactus style. So keep the figure four shape and then we'll just drop the arms over to the right. So then the left foot comes to the mat. The outside of the right leg. The left leg is up and over. And then the chest is open. But for this one, the legs and feet need to be grounded so it makes sense. So we're opening the outer left hip. So that means the shoulder comes up, whatever. It's not the end of the world. And then rotate the chin over the left shoulder. And then bring the chin up to center. Bring the figure four shape over your body and then hug into the chest. And give yourself a squeeze. Rock from side to side and massage out the low back. And then you can release from here to your final resting shape. So Shavasana, bent knees, whatever it is, heels in, toes out, palms up, and close the eyes. And we'll be here in silence for about 2 minutes just to reset. Start to come back to your body and bring some movement back to the hands and feet. Bring the legs together, reach the arms up overhead. Legs pull flex the feet a little bit, sort of the ankles. If you want to kind of move from side to side, you can. So bring your feet to the ground and just roll over onto the side closest to the sound of my voice. Use your hands to come back to sit up tall. And bring the hands to the thighs and just take a second to reset and bring the shoulders over the hips. And then come back to the intention you set at the beginning of our hour together. And whatever kind of moments where you were really in it, where you were unable to worry about the future or the past, right? Like that's kind of the essence of yoga, is being in the moment. And you can tap into that without any of these postures. So this is just to help us remember that that's there and available for us whenever we want it. Let's close with a last breath together. Take a big inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the mouth. Open the eyes, and thank you so much for joining me on this fairly sweaty practice.